Hey, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. And the continuation of the glorification of Sri Ram and his pastimes ki jai. Can you turn it a little bit more that way?
Yeah.
Just a little, just.
Is that too much?
I'm just gonna suggest to spin it. That's okay. Just so that Srimati Radhika's, there you go, perfect.
And David Didi, we're going to post pictures after the program so you can see Thakurji up close.
And for all the
Well,
devotees.
for everyone, but yeah.
Haribo. Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted the Mangalacarana. Mangalacarana means auspicious invocation. So, once again, if you think of the word invocation, you are invoking something or someone. In this case, we are invoking someone and their grace. Who is it? All of our Guru Varga, starting with our own Gurudev, also calling Srila Prabhupada, all of the Gurus in our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan Gaura Hari, going all the way back to the original Guru, who is Krishna himself, and his Guru of Prem, Srimati Radhika. Radhikar Prema Guru Ami Shishya Nata. Calling on all of them for their presence, their grace, their mercy, their beautiful sidelong glance. Dandavat Pranam all Vaisnavas. So we will start with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this beautiful bhajan treasure trove, Sri Gauriya Giti Gucha. If you don't have it, then just check the first comment in the thread. Jiva Pavana Prabhu has posted it. And that is Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagano Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagano Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shri Mar Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvang Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padajidataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvang Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नम ओं विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्री श्रीमद्भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव इति नामिने। अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानञ्च पालिने जीवदुःखे सदर्ताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने। नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने। श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते। गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतोपङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोज राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशीवतत्ततस्थितः कार्षन्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीनाथश्रीस्तु नः। वृन्दायै तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatmo Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nam Harer Nam Harer Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Dandava Pranam all Vaishnavas Radhe Radhe So now we're going to call out for the mercy of Sri Gurudev. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Mandamai Savadhana Mate, page 28 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Anjali, it's not page 2. Unless the strawberry represents there we go. Someone ate the strawberry. There we go. Thank you. And if you don't have this beautiful Shri Gaudiya Giti Gucha, you may refer to the post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu within this thread. He will post the bhajans, or he posts the bhajans along with their translations and frequently followed by the commentaries of our acharyas. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalabha Kati Sadama Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalabha Kati Sadama Vandumui Savadhano Mate Vandumui Savadhano Mate Vandumui Savadhano Mate Vandumui Savadhano Jahar prasade bhai e bhavatoriya jai Jahar prasade bhai e bhavatoriya jai Krishna prapti hoy jahar Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite Guru mukha Padma vakyo chitte te koriya aikyo Guru mukha Padma vakyo chitte te koriya aikyo Arna kori ho mane asha Arna kori ho mane asha Shri Guru charane rati aise uttama gati Shri Guru charane rati aise uttama gati Jai prasade pure sarva asha 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 Chakudan dilo je janme janme prabhu se Chakudan dilo je janme janme prabhu se Divya gyan hriday prakashito Divya gyan hriday prakashito Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Vede gai jaharo charito Vede gai jaharo charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janaro Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janaro Bandhu Lokanatha Lukero Jivano Lokanatha Lukero Jivano Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deha More Pado Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deha More Pado Chaya Tuwa Pade Roinu Sharana Tuwa Pade Roinu Sharana Ebe Jasha Gushu Tribhuvana Ebe Jasha Gushu Tribhuvana Guru Deva Patita Pavana Guru Deva Patita Pavana Shri Prabhupada Patita Pavana Prabhupada Patita Pavana Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deha More Pado Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deha More Pado Chaya parampara, Guru parampara. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Now, we will call out for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. First we call to Shri Guru, Diksha Guru, and then we call, of course that includes Shiksha Guru, but then all Vaishnavas, it implies Shiksha Gurus. Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Utap Padakamalam, Shri Gurun Vaishnavasha. So first is mentioned Shri Guru, and then Gurun, the plurality of Gurus, or Samasti Guru. So that is Vaishnavas. Sakala Vaishnava Gosai, page 46 by Sri Radha Mohan Das. Jiva Pavana Prabhu, you said you would love to hear and chant this entire song. What does that mean? Like, you want to lead it? Oh, that's nice, Krishna Dasi. She said she was singing and dancing to Sri Guru Charana Padma. Sakala Vaishnava Gosai, Doya, Koro more. The way I learnt it from Krishna Das. Page 46. O venerable Vaishnavas, give me your mercy. Holding a straw between my teeth, this wretched and simple person petitions you. Make me fortunate by helping me attain the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna Chaitanya. This is the function of the Vaishnavas, to increase our faith in our Gurudev and of course in Mahaprabhu, not to take it for themselves. Without the mercy of you all, this is unattainable. I say with certainty that I, especially, am unqualified. You are all wish-fulfilling trees and oceans of mercy. This is the only hope I hold within my heart for attaining your mercy. I do not possess an iota of good qualities, and there is no limit to my offenses. Show the people of this world your glories by delivering me. This is how Nityananda Prabhu petitioned Mahaprabhu. Your glories will truly be known throughout the world if you can save these two personalities, Jagaya and Madhav. Please show your great compassion by bestowing a taste for Nam Sankirtan and the treasure of Prem upon this Radha Mohan Das. Sakala Vaishnava Gosai, Doya Koro more. Dante trina dhori kohe edina pamare. Sakala Vaishnava Gosai, Doya Koro more. Dante trina dhori kohe edina pamare. Shri Guru Charanaya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Guru Charanaya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Pada Padma Pavaya, More Koro Dhanya. Pada Padma Pavaya, More Koro Dhanya. Toma Sabara Koruna Vine, Iha Prapti Nai. Toma Sabara Koruna Vine, Iha Prapti Nai. Visheshe Ajogya Mui Kohilo Nishchoy. Visheshe Ajogya Mui Kohilo Vanchakalpataruha Karunasagar Vanchakalpataruha Karunasagar Eto Bharasamui Dhoriye Antara Eto Bharasamui Dhoriye Antara Gunaleshanahi Moro Aparadher Sima Amayudhariya Loke Dekhao Mahima Gunaleshanahi Moro Aparadher Sima Amayudhariya Loke Dekhao Mahima Nama Sankirtana Ruchi Ar Prema Dhana Nama Sankirtana Ruchi Ar Prema Dhana E Radha Mohane Deho Hoya Sakaruna E Radha Mohane Deho Hoya Sakaruna Sakala Vaisnava Gosai Doya Koro More Dante Trina Dhori Kohe Edino Pamare Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Doya Koro More Dante Trina Dhori Kohe Edino Pamare Vaishnava Gosai Jaya Vaishnava Gosai Vaishnava Gosai Jaya Vaishnava Gosai Jaya Vaishnava Gosai Jaya Vaishnava Gosai Vaishnava Gosai Jaya Vaishnava Gosai Prabhu Kripa Koro More Doya Koro 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 All Vaishnava Thakurs ki Jai. CK Mai, you left us on a cliffhanger with that question. Dear Vaishnavas, why did Ramachandra what? Okay. Now we're going to call for the mercy and grace of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. I know we put a lot of focus on him, but as someone who comes in the line of Vaishnavas known as Rupanuga, meaning Das Das Anudas, praying for that, there should be some speciality, some special emphasis given to Sri Rupa. Because only by the mercy of Sri Rupa will we be able to attain the mercy of Mahaprabhu. What Mahaprabhu wanted to give, he gave through Rupa Goswami. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Very special thing. And so only by praying to Rupa Goswami will we be able to receive that particular kind of mercy of Mahaprabhu. Unato Jvala Rasang Sva Bhakti Shriyam. So, Narottam Das Thakur prays to Rupa Goswami that Rupa Goswami is our everything, the goal of all of our practice. Even Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who some claim wasn't Rasik, they just didn't know how Rasik he truly is. He says that the Puttast of Sri Rupa, this is our goal, our object, our everything. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, Same or Sampada, Same or Bhajana Pujan by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. That is page 50, page 50. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada se moro sampada Shri Rupa Manjari pada se moro sampada se mor bhajana pujana se mor bhajana pujana se mor bhajana pujana se mor bhajana pujana se moro prano dhana se moro yabharana se mor prano dhana se mor abharana se mor জীবনের জীবন সে মোর জীবনের জীবন সে মোর রসানিধি সে মোর বাঞ্ছা সিদ্ধি se moro rasanidhi se moro vancha siddhi se mor vedero dharana se mor vedero dharana se vrato se tapo se mor mantra japa se vrato se tapo se mor mantra japa se mor Rama-katha se mor Rama-katha anukula habe vidhi se pade hoibe siddhi anukula habe vidhi se pade hoibe siddhi nirakhibo e dui nayane nirakhibo e dui nayane se rupa madhuri rashi prano kuvalaya shashi se rupa madhuri rashi prano kuvalaya shashi prakulitam habe nishidine prakulitam habe nishidine Tuwa darshan tapito jivono chirodino tapito jivono ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deho Re Podo Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deho Re Podo Chaya Jaya Rupa Gosai Prabhu Gosai Rupa Gosai Prabhu Gosai Rupa Gosai Prabhu Gosai Rupa Gosai Prabhu Gosai Prabhu Hai Goswami Pad ki Jai, Shri Shat Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Yes, Shashi means moon. Se Rupa Madhuri Rashi, sweet nectar. Prana, life. Kuvalaya, Shashi. The Shashi means moon. Prapulita Habe Nishidine. Day and night is causing this lotus of the heart to blossom. Also, Chandra means moon, like in the Kirtan, Jaya Jaya Gora Chande, Aroti Keshava, Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadana Ujwal. Like millions of moons, cooling, like millions of moons. And then also in Sri Shikshashtakam, Cheto Dadpanamarjanam Bhavamaha Dabagni Nirvapanam Shreyakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam. So also, Harinam extinguishes that blazing forest fire. But even if you were in a forest fire, even if it's extinguished, still you can be burning. But it also gives that quality of cooling, means cooling from that blazing forest fire that we have been enduring since time without beginning. I don't know the details of that. I know Shashi Kala, Kala means phase. So Shashi means moon in this case. But it might also be utilized to mean new moon. Amavasya means new moon. And then there's Purnima, which is the full moon. And then there's all the different phases in between. So, Nomi or Navami, this is the 9th day. Then there's Dashami. Then there's Ekadashi, that's the 11th. Dwadashi, the 12th. Trayodashi, 13th. Chaturdashi, 14th. And then, of course, Purnima. So now we're going to call for the mercy. Oh, wait a second. The question came. Why did Ramchandra at first ask to Kaikeyi for a boon when he was a child sitting on the lap of Kaikeyi? For what purpose did he himself want his brother to become king and himself to go to the forest. So Sudevi spoke something about that yesterday, and so I'll just touch very quickly on it. When Ram appeared, everyone understood that he was not an ordinary child. Why? Because Dasharatha Maharaj received the kheer, or the sweet rice, from the fire god, from that god who manifested from the yajna. He handed the kheer, and Dasharatha Maharaj gave it to Kaushalya and Kaikeyi, who each shared some of it with Sumitra. So Kaushalya had Sri Ram, Kaikeyi had Bharat, and Sumitra had Lakshman and Shatrughna. In other words, they all came from the same transcendental source. So in essence, it's the same person manifested in 4 different forms. You can say Chatur Vyuha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradumna, Aniruddha, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna. They are all transcendental and in one sense non-different. For the purpose of Leela, pastimes, the Lord manifests so many different pastimes for the pleasure of his devotees. Someone might say, this isn't pleasurable. It's so heartbreaking. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj discusses this point. Would you like to go see a drama or a movie that has no emotion in it? Well, some people do. It's quite boring. But if there are tears, if there's breaking hearts, if there's so much going on, all different kinds of emotional plots going on in the background, then you want to see it. And the more you weep, the more you feel when you're watching it, the better you consider it to be. Right? It didn't touch me. You wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But if you're feeling so much, then you'll tell your friends, this is the best thing I've ever seen. You should come. And you will go again with them and watch it. And then you will see it again and again and again. And you will invite more and more friends. So there's something to do with this separation, that also seeing all of these pastimes of the Lord with all of these variegated aspects and meeting and separation and all of the plots behind it, that attracts the hearts and makes the devotee want to come back again and again. There is pleasure also in that. And so the Lord, who is Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, who has so much mercy and affection for his devotees, performs beautiful pastimes because the devotees relish these pastimes. Seeing the appearance and all of the different pastimes of the Lord is a cause of great jubilation for them. And since Treta Yuga, not this recent Treta Yuga, Ram did not appear in this Treta Yuga. He appeared many Manvantars before. I believe in these, oh gosh, where's Rudra? Do you know which Manvantar it is? Do you know which Manvantar Sri Rama appeared in? It wasn't even this Manvantar. It was a different Manvantar. But still, his glories are so great that even within this Manvantar, he is still glorified and worshipped. No. So, I'm not even sure what Manvantar we're in. I haven't been focusing on that at this moment. Okay, so what was the purpose? When he was born, they knew he was Bhagavan. He had 4 arms. Dasharatha Maharaj, Kaushalya, all offered prayers. Just like Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison of Kamsa. He was manifest. He manifested. He appeared. And they realized this is Bhagavan. So they offered so many prayers to him. Then they begged him, please take your human-like form as a baby. And he said, okay, but as soon as I do that, take me to Nanda Bhavan and Gokul and exchange me with their daughter. So this is what was done by Vasudeva Maharaj on the order of the Supreme Lord. In this case, they also understood that Ram was Bhagavan, but they would also become covered by Vatsalya Prem in this pastime of Sri Ram. So Ram sat on Kaikeyi's lap and told her straight up, I've come, I have so many functions to perform, If I remain here in the palace, I cannot do that. So at the appropriate time, you're going to have to do this and this. And she just couldn't handle the idea of it. Her Vatsalya Prem, it struck her too intensely. Her parental love and affection for Ram. It is said that she loved Ram more than anyone. And that's why Ram was able to request her to do it. Because only someone who loves someone more than anything can sacrifice themselves for all eternity for the sake of that object of their love and affection. So Kaikeyi was able to do this. Ram told her. And of course, at the time when it was meant to be, it is said that by the divine will, by Yoga Maya's potency, Mantara's mind, it's not that Mantara was always bad. Her mind became polluted, so to speak, and then she was feeding Kaikeyi with so many ideas, and due to this bad association, Kaikeyi also took on this sentiment. But she also remembered this instruction of Ram. It was meant to be. And so she followed it, even though for all time she would be the villainess. She would be hated. Everyone's looking, why would she do such a thing? So, there are histories, and Sudevi was telling them yesterday also, about Dasharatha Maharaj. He had no son. And when he fell in love with Kaikeyi, he asked her father for her hand in marriage. Her father said on one condition, that her son would be crowned king. He said, great, of course, I have no son. So if a son comes from her, definitely I will crown him king. That was a condition. Now Dasharatha Maharaj had made a vow. So it was necessary to uphold, to make Bharat king, to uphold the vow of Dasharatha. If Dasharatha's vows would not have been upheld, then how could Ram or any of them respect him properly? Especially at that time in Treta Yuga. When someone gives their word is their life. And for one who has known honor, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, dishonor is worse than death. So there were many reasons why this had to take place. Sudevi told the history of how when Dasharatha was young, he had accidentally killed the son of some rishi. And how do you call the female rishi? Rishini? I don't know. Anyway, Rishi and his wife in the forest who were elderly and blind. And as this son was dying, he told, now my parents are also going to die. So go and tell them what you have done. So Dasharatha Maharaj went to the parents and told them, it was an accident, I thought it was an animal, I killed your son. They said, bring me to him immediately. They went and they were weeping over that son's body. And then the father cursed Dasharatha Maharaj. Just as, due to separation from our son, we will have to also die. Because we have no one to look after us. We're elderly and blind. In the same way, you will also have to suffer. Due to separation from your son, you will die. So there was a son guaranteed by the curse, but also this curse was there. So many reasons. Also, Kaikeyi was given those 2 boons by Dasharatha Maharaj when she was so valiantly fighting in the battle along with him on the side of the demigods against the demons. And she actually saved her husband and nursed him back to health. And he was so satisfied by her seva, he granted her 2 boons, which she did not accept immediately, but told him, when the time comes, I will grant them to you. So then she asked for those 2 boons. One, being influenced by mantra, and deep, deep down, a secret which no one else was allowed to know at the time, being requested by Ram when he was younger, that you must do this. Sometimes when the Lord appears, he's so absorbed in his Leela that he forgets what his purpose is. Like Krishna, he was so absorbed in his Braja Leela, he was forgetting his purpose, in a sense. So, of course, Akrur came to Vrindavan. He's like, Vasudeva and Devaki are still in prison. You've got to get them out of prison. There's so many demons. making all kinds of havoc on this earth. So Krishna's purpose had to be done. So of course his own manifestations as Mathuresh Krishna, Dwarkadesh Krishna manifested and took care of these demons and rescued the devotees. Also Mahaprabhu, when Nitai was hit with that pot and he was bleeding, Mahaprabhu immediately manifested like the ferocity of Nrsingadev and started calling for his chakra. Nrsingadev is the manifestation of the chakra, just so you know, like a non-different personality. So Mahaprabhu was calling, chakra, chakra, and he wanted to kill those two, but Nityananda Prabhu stopped him. He said, you have not come for this. Your glories will truly be known if you can awaken the devotee and annihilate the demon within them, but awaken the devotee. And then your glories will truly be known. So in the same way, Ram also had his purpose. Not just to be king in Ayodhya, but yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shajamyaham paritranaya sadhuna minashaya cha dushkritam dharma sangstarpanartaya. So to root out irreligion, to re-establish the principles of dharma, to protect the devotees and annihilate those who are always endeavoring to destroy devotees and devotion, the Lord appears from millennium to millennium. So Ram had a lot of demons to kill. A lot. There were so many, and they were, well, in essence, had taken over. So he told Kaikeyi, you have to make sure this happens so that I can also fulfill my function, but also this is part of the Leela. So I hope I was able to answer your question satisfactorily. Thank you, Anjali, for always posting really good, appropriate gifts. It really adds to the punch of the subject matters. Why does Krishna perform these leelas? One, he likes to, apparently. Otherwise he wouldn't do it. Two, for his devotees. And it is such that so many will weep and weep and weep. And yet, in that they will experience so much transcendental relish as well. So now, did I say we're going to call out for the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu? What is the time? 6. Oop. Thank you for asking that question. It was like a test for me to see if I was listening to Sudevi properly yesterday. Okay, Jayanti. See you soon. Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani. This relates to what we were just talking about, page 61 by Srila Lochan Das Thakur. His breaking open that dam was, in essence, him stopping Mahaprabhu from killing them and instead having Mahaprabhu award them the highest benefit, prem. Mahaprabhu removed all of their sins and established them in prem. Page 61, Nitai Gunamani, Amar Nitai Gunamani by Sri Lochan Das Thakur. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद निताय गुण मणि आमार निताय गुण मणि निताय गुण मणि आमार निताय गुण मणि आनिया प्रेमेरो बन्या भाषैलो यवनि आनिया प्रेमेरो बन्या भाषैलो प्रेमेर बन्या लोया निताय ऐलो गौरो देशे प्रेमेर बन्या लोया निताय ऐलो गौरो देशे रुबिलो भक्त भाषे रुबिलो भक्त गण दीनहीन भाषे दीनहीन पतित पामर नाहि बाछे पतित पामर नाहि बाछे ब्रह्मार दुर्लभ प्रेम सबाकारे जाचे ब्रह्मार दुर्लभ प्रेम सबाकारे जाचे आबद्ध करुणा सिंधु कातिया मुहानो आबद्ध करुणा सिंधु कातिया मुहानो घरे घरे बुले प्रेम अमियारो बानो घरे घरे बुले प्रेम अमियारो बानो लोचन बोले मोरो निताय बाना भजिलो लोचन बोले मोरो निताय जय बाना भजिलो जानिया शुनिया से आत्मघाती होइलो जानिया शुनिया से आत्मघाती होइलो निताय गुण मणि आमार निताय गुण मणि निताय गुण मणि आमार निताय गुण आनिया प्रेमेरो बन्या भाषैरो यवनि आनिया प्रेमेरो बन्या Nitai hai, Nitai hai, Nitai hai, Nitai hai, Nitai hai, Nitai hai, Gaur hai, Nitai hai, Gaur hai, Nitai hai, Gaur hai, Nitai hai, Gaur hai. पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। Now we're going to call for the mercy of Sri Shachinandan Gaura Hari. Kali Kukkura Kadana Jadi Chao Hai, page 156 by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Kali Kukur. Kali Kukkura Kadana Jadi Chahe, Kali Kukkura Kadana Jadi Chahe, Kali Juga Pavono, Kali Bhayo Nashono, Kali Juga Pavono, Kali Bhayo Nashono, Shri Shachinandano Gao He, Shri Shachinandano Gao He, Kali Kukkura Kadana Jadi Chao He, Kali Kukkura Kadana Jadi Chao He, Madhav Madono Nitayero Prano Dhano, Gadadharo Madono Nitayero Prano Dhano, Advaitera Prabhujita, Advaitera Prabhujita Gora, Advaitera Prabhujita Gora, Nimai Vishwambharo Srivaso Ishvaro, Nimai Vishwambharo Srinivaso Ishvaro, भगत समूह चित छोरा भगत समूह चित छोरा कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे अद्या शशधर मायपुर ईश्वर नदिया शशधर मायपुर ईश्वर नाम प्रवर्तन सूर नाम प्रवर्तन सूर गृही जन शिक्षक व्यासिकुल नायक गृही जन शिक्षक व्यासिकुल नायक माधव राधा भाव पूर माधव राधा भाव पूर कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे सर्वभौम शोधन गजपति तारुण सर्वभौम शोधन गजपति तारुण रामानंद पोषण वीर रामानंद पोषण वीर रूपानंद वर्धन सनातन पालन रूपानंद वर्धन सनातन पालन हरिदास मोदन धीर हरिदास मोदन धीर कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे ब्रजर स्वभाव दुष्टमत शतन ब्रजर स्वभाव दुष्टमत शातन कपति विघातन काम कपटि विघातन काम शुद्ध भक्त पालन शुष्क ज्ञान तारण शुद्ध भक्त पालन शुष्क ज्ञान तारण चल भक्ति दूषण राम चल भक्ति दूषण राम कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कली जुग पावन कली भयो नाशन कली जुग पावन कली भयो नाशन श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ Sachinandana Jai Gaura Hari, Sachinandana Jai Gaura Hari, Gaura He, 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 Gaura He. Prem Purushottam Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. I don't know why we don't sing that more often. Probably because I couldn't find my bearings on it previously. But from now, we will start singing it more often. Harinama Tuwa, Anek Swarupa. 180.  by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa, Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa, Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa, Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa, Yashodanandana Anandavardhana Nandatanaya Rasakupa, Yashodanandana Anandavardhana Nandatanaya Rasakupa, Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa, Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa, Utanaghatano Vinnavartohano Shakato Bhanjana Gopala, Utanaghatano Vinnavartohano Shakato Bhanjana Gopala, Murali Vadana Aghabaka Mardana Govardhana Dhari Rakhala, Murali Vadana Aghabaka Mardana Govardhana Dhari Rakhala, Harinama Tuwa Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Mardano Brahma Vimohano Surapati Darpa Vinashi Deshi Mardano Brahma Vimohano Surapati Darpa Vinashi Arishta Shatano Gopi Vimohano Yamuna Kulina Vilasi Arishta Shatano Gopi Vimohano Yamuna Kulina Vilasi Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Radhikaranjano Rasarasayano Radha Kunda Kunja Vihari Radhikaranjano Rasarasayano Radha Kunda Kunja Vihari Rama Krishna Hari Madhava Narahari Rama Krishna Hari Madhava Narahari Matsyadi Gane Avatari Matsyadi Gane Avatari Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Govinda Vamano Shri Madhusudano Yadava Chandra Vanamali Govinda Vamano Shri Madhusudano Yadava Chandra Vanamali Kaliya Shatano Gokula Ranjano Radha Bhajana Sukha Shani Kaliya Shatano Gokula Ranjano Radha Bhajana Sukha Shani Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Harinama Tuwa Anek Swarupa Ityadi Kanamo Swarupe Prakamo Paruka Morarati Rage Ityadiko Namo Swarupe Prakamo Paruka Morarati Rage Rupa Jani nija sampada Rupa Swarupa pada Jani nija sampada Bhakti vinoda dhori mage Bhakti vinoda dhori mage Harinama Tuwa Aneka Swarupa 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 Harinama Jai Harinama Harinama Jai Harinama Jai Harinama Jai Harinama Harinama Jai Harinama Krishna Hai 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 Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas. Now we're going to call for the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Page 362. Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. 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 Bolo barshane wali ki jai, jai, 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 jai. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Thakurani ki jai, Hari Pyari ki jai. Thakurani ki jai, Hari Pyari ki jai. Vrishabhanu Dulali ki jai, jai, jai. Vrishabhanu Dulali ki jai, jai, jai. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Gaurangi ki jai, Hemangi ki jai. Gaurangi ki jai, Hemangi ki jai. Braja Rajakumari ki jai, jai, jai. Braja Rajakumari ki jai, jai, jai. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Braja Rani ki jai, Braja Devi ki jai. Braja Rani ki jai, Braja Devi ki jai. Gahavara Vanava Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki jai, Giridhari ki jai, Ganavari ki jai, Giridhari ki jai, Ganavari ki jai, Bolo Kunja Bihari Ju ki jai, 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 Bolo Kunja Bihari Ju ki jai, 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 Bolo Vinoda Bihari Ju ki jai, 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 Bolo Vinoda Bihari Ju ki jai, 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 Bolo Ramana Bihari Ju ki jai, 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 Bolo Ramana Bihari Ju ki jai, 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 Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki jai, Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki jai, Bolo Varshane Wali ki jai, 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 Bolo Varshane Wali ki jai, 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 Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki 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 jai, Jai Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya 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 Radhe, Jaya Krishna. वृषभानंदनी श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, श्री राधा विनो बिहारी जू की जय। Jai Radha Madhav Kunj Bihari with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Calling for the mercy, the grace, the shelter of Shri Radha and Krishna, praying, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your loving service. For those of you who don't know it, it is page 158. Oh, whatever Jiva Pavana Prabhu posts. A lot of people don't know, because now it's become common, bhajan in India, maybe just by being heard so much, and also Jagjit Singh sang that version, Jai Radha Madhava. So many people sing it, but they don't know that it was written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Some have added, Murali Manohara, Karuna Sagara. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur kept his bhav all in Braj mood here. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya ধারি জয় গিরিবরধারি জয় গোপী জন্নবল্লভ জয় গিরিবরধারি জয় গিরিবরধারি জয় যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যমুনা তীরবনচারী জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় যমুনা তীরবনচারী জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় গোপী জন্নবল্লভ জয় গিরিবরধারি গোপী জন্নবল্লভ জয় গিরিবরধারি ও জয় যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ জনরঞ্জন যমুনা তীরবনচারী জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী যমুনা তীরবনচারী জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় যমুনা তীরবনচারী জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী ও জয় যমুনা তীরবনচারী জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে ও হরে কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, 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 Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram. Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev, Jai Gurudev Jai Gurudev 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 Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namah. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitti Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam. We offer our Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Srila Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupar Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupar Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we offer our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. So today, you might have to play back Charudasi. We discussed that when C.K. Mai asked that question, and yesterday Sudevi discussed
I
it.
think she's asking about the age.
No, Charudasi wants clarification on when Ram asked Kaikeyi to help with his lila.
The age, about like he was very young.
So today we are continuing with Ram Lila. This is not something that is easy to complete in one day, or even 2 days or 3 days. Actually, the pastimes of the Lord are eternal, and they're always going on, which means there are infinite variations within them. What we have received is the darshan, which has been placed in the books for that time. But any transcendental pure Vaishnava has the capacity to access, because they are connected with the absolute truth. Therefore, what they are witnessing and what they are speaking is known as Shabda Brahma, or transcendental sound vibration. In other words, they're able to connect to these leelas. So we're given something that we can meditate upon. But really the pastimes of the Lord are eternal and infinitely variegated. Like, I'll give you a simple example. We wake up every day, maybe at the same time because of the alarm clock. We have our bodily duties. We eat, we might drink the same thing every morning. We eat, but we don't eat exactly the same thing every day. The conversations which take place are not exactly the same. Where we go, where we drive, whatever we do, there's some basic structure, but there is so much variety. Every single day has been different, every single day of our life. So why not for Bhagavan? He's infinite. He has infinite qualities, infinite variety. There's basic structure. Ram Lila has its basic structure. And what we have received is, you can call it a snapshot of a day in the life of Ram. But his pastimes are unlimited. So are the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So are the pastimes of Krishna and Srimati Radhika. And Krishna has unlimited avatars, incarnations, who are all performing unlimited, variegated pastimes. So much so that even Anantashesh, who has unlimited mouths, who is a non-different manifestation of the Lord himself, has been endeavoring to glorify the Lord since all time without beginning, and feels that I have not begun to even scratch the surface of his unlimited glories. What to speak of us? But anyhow, for our own purification, what we have received from our Guru Varga, from Sadhus and Shastra, we can repeat that for our own purification and also for the purification of others. As Mahaprabhu said, whoever you meet, wherever you go, tell them about Krishna. And as we know, Keshava Dritta Rama Sharira. This is also a pastime of Krishna. When Krishna desires to experience Maryada, or to perform the pastime of Maryada. Maryada means establishing proper rules and regulations and following them and showing by example. And also wanting to fight. And he manifests in that form of Sri Ram. What is it? Vitarasi dikshurane dikpatikamaniyam dashamukamauli balim ramaniyam keshavadrita Rama Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare. So Krishna is manifesting in this beautiful form. And Srimati Radhika, the original Shakti, is manifesting in the form of Sita. Uma, Rama, Satya, Shachi, Chandra, Rukmini, Radha, Avatar, Sabe, Am, Nayavani. So from one perspective we can understand that Ram and Sita are non-different from Radha and Krishna. They are manifesting in these beautiful forms to perform their pastimes. And in fact, if you read in the scriptures, if you see in the Puranas, Krishna is showing Srimati Radhika this pastime. And because of Ram Leela and Sita, then we also have Sachinandan Gaurahari. There is some connection between all of these pastimes. And we see that who was manifest to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? When Mahaprabhu showed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was previously an impersonalist, when he showed his divine form for Sarvabhauma, what did Sarvabhauma see? Oh, there he saw a six-armed form, Shadbhuj. Who is that? 2 arms, and the body of Mahaprabhu carrying Kamandalu and Danda. 2 arms were the arms of Krishna carrying a flute. Oops, the other way. And 2 arms were the arms of Sri Ram carrying bow and arrows. Sarvabhauma realized, oh, you are that same self-supreme Bhagavan who manifests all of these different forms. So Ram and all of the other forms, they are manifestations of Krishna, Krishna Swayam, for the purpose of him performing his pastimes. And he's showing so many beautiful pastimes for the pleasure of his devotees, ultimately. For the pleasure of his devotees. This is the real, deep, primary reason why he's performing all of these pastimes. What a beautiful and what a heartbreaking katha, Ram-katha is. So many times yesterday when I was hearing, even myself, who was very hard-hearted, I broke out in tears. So if Ram Leela can do that to me, then I cannot imagine for some people. But for my heart, it's very hard. I was born with the last name Stein, which means in German stone. So that's like my heart. Anyhow, Ram Leela can shatter even stone-like hearts. So yesterday, Sudevi spoke so much beautiful katha and brought us to Chitrakoot. This is where Ram and Sita and Lakshman have made their camp in that area in the forest after being banished. And so from there, we've heard so many things. I believe Bharat was just going to Chitrakoot. So I'd like to request Sudevi to come forward and continue telling this beautiful katha. Sorry. Okay. Nope. Missed it. There we go. Just keep your eye on that.
Okay. Dandavat Pranam, all Vaishnavas.
Radhe,
Charu,
Radhe,
Radhe, Didi, Charu Didi, from our Gurudev we heard that it was when Ram was quite young, he was a little boy, and being melted in love, motherly love for Ram, he went and he sat on Kaikeyi's lap. Ram sat on Kaikeyi's lap, and at that time, because she was melted in love and affection for Ram, and she loved Ram more than her own son Bharat, he asked, "Will you do this for me? I need this to be done. If I stay in Ayodhya, then so much that I have come here to do will never be accomplished. I will be bound by the chains of my family, by the chains of my duty. So if you can free me from this, banish me to the forest and make Bharat king." And plus, as we've already spoken, there are so many different intricacies that are leading up to this in the life of Kaikeyi, in the life of Bharat, in the life of Dasarat Maharaj. So all of this mixes in together to fulfill Ram's purpose.
Even so many of the reasons that Krishna appeared in this world have to do with
Ram.
Lila.
Yes. So I did want Kishori to speak on a particular verse from Bhagavatam, but because you asked me to speak now, I think we can bring it up maybe at another time
Yes.
when it comes to
I
Vibhishan.
just thought it was a bit intense to start with.
Oh, he didn't want to start off intense. That's different. Okay. So, as Kishori Mohan Prabhu just explained, we were left yesterday at Chitrakoot. There, Sri Ram, Lakshman, and Sita Devi, they made their hermitage there. They were living amongst beautiful rishis, beautiful forest. When you read about the beauty of that place, of course, where the Lord is, it will be full and plentiful. Flowers and fruits and animals and beautiful deer and birds are everywhere, peacocks. It's so gorgeous. They don't feel any kind of lacking. They feel completely overjoyed. But on the other side of, I believe, the Ganga, there is Bharat. There is Vashishta Rishi, and so many of the Ayodhya Basis. They're all wanting to bring Ram back. Now Dasarat has left this world. Kaikeyi's intelligence has returned. She realizes, what have I done? Even though she knew she had to do it, our Gurudev said she made herself hard-hearted. If you have to do something that is so shocking, so unbelievable, and so against every grain of your blood, how can you do this? How can you banish Ram? She can't even comprehend it. She is the personality, actually, who made her husband die because of those two boons. And she's having to bear the weight of all of this. Now she asks Kaushalya, the mother of Ram and her elder co-wife, "Please take me with you. My intelligence has returned, and I also want to beg Ram and Lakshman to return to Ayodhya." So they are in the forest now, at the banks of the river, and Gua is there. He is like the king of the forest, and he has his own army, and he's checked out Bharat, and he sees that Bharat is overwhelmed with love and affection for Ram. So he agrees, stay here the night, and let's remember and reminisce in the glories of Ram and Lakshman and Sita Devi. And tomorrow we will all cross and we will go in search of Lord Ram. So at that time, the next day, they all wake up, and somehow or other they cross the river. They build these huge boats and they cross the river. There are chariots there, there are warriors there. All of the army of Ayodhya is coming. So many citizens, hundreds and thousands are coming. They all want to bring Ram back. So as they're going in the forest, they see that Bharat is walking. And Bharat also isn't used to such kind of hardship. He's always in a chariot. He's always being on a horse driven somewhere. But now he's walking. And he has so many blisters all over his feet. And everyone is feeling so unnerved by seeing this. And they're asking him, even Vasishta is asking, please get on the chariot. You are our leader now. Let us take you in the chariot. But Bharat wouldn't do it. He said that Mother Sita, Lakshman, and my Lord, my heart Ram, they walked this path. They didn't have a chariot. They didn't have any horses or any comfort. Why should I enter into this place like that? They walked on their feet. I also should do the same. They had no shoes. So he walked without shoes, without a chariot, even though it was all available to him. He wouldn't take anything over Ram. So as they were walking, it became quite late. Ram had gone deep into the forest. He didn't want to be close to Ayodhya. If he was close to Ayodhya, then all the Ayodhya Basis would be dragging him back to Ayodhya. So he went deep and deep into the forest. Finally, they came to the hermitage of the sage Bhadravaj. How do you say that? Bharadvaj. Coming to the sage's ashram, the sage came out and he welcomed Bharat and the whole army, all of the Ayodhya Basis. And he began to speak to Bharat about what was going on. In some places it says that he also was checking him out, but actually he knows past, present, and future. He is a seer, means he is a tattvadarshi. Trikalagya. He knows past, present, and future, but he sees all. In Ramayana, in Mahabharata, they call them seers. It means they are seeing everything. They are not blind to it. So when he saw Bharat, he understood the heart of Bharat. Even though he questioned him a little bit, Bharat became so upset. And the Rishi said, don't worry, I know your heart. I know that your Lord in your life is Ram. Then he asked him, please stay here the night and bring the whole army. Why are you only here? Bring the whole army to come and let me serve all of you. And Bharat said, your place of hermitage, your place of living is so beautiful and it's so pristine. If they come with so many horses and all of their chariots and all of the men, things will be destroyed. And you in a simple hermitage, how can you host such a huge army and so many persons? And he said, oh, by the merit of all my austerities, don't worry. I can feed and entertain all of you, and this would be my great pleasure. Please call them. So Bharat did as the guru, the seer, the rishi requested him, and he allowed him to host them for the night. At that time, due to his penance, he was able to call down demigods to do his bidding. Apsaras came and they entertained all of the troops by dancing and by making them swoon. Also, they were fed all kinds of beautiful things and rich foods and all kinds of wine. And they enjoyed themselves more than they ever had in the forest. They were like, this is astonishing. And there were hundreds and thousands of them. But Bharat just stayed quiet and only remembered Sri Ram. The next morning, they all got up to go, and they began searching for Ram, going deeper and deeper into Chitrakoot. As they were going there, Ram saw something different. He saw that all of the deers were running away, the birds were becoming quiet, and he saw that dust was rising and it was turning to night, even though it was quite early. He told Lakshman, can you climb the tree and can you see what is happening? I think something is approaching us. Actually, the night before, Sita had a dream and told Ram about it. And so he also understood, being Ram, what was really happening. But anyway, he sent Lakshman to check. Lakshman saw that Bharat was coming and that there was a huge army with him. Immediately, Lakshman thought he's coming to try to fight, to kill Ram. and myself so that he can have no opposition to the throne. Even though we're in the forest, yet he is coming to try to attack us. So immediately he started telling Ram, I will kill him. And he started going back and forth what he was going to do. And Ram was somewhat charmed by it. But then he admonished Lakshman and he said, Bharat has never done anything against Dharma. What to speak of Dharma? He loves me more than life itself, and Lakshman, he loves you. He would never come and try to attack us. Why would you automatically think like this? Be quiet, be calm, and wait to see what happens. And Lakshman was feeling somewhat remorseful. Immediately his first mood was to protect Ram and Sita. That was his everything.
That's a lesson in giving the benefit of the doubt in advance, not to prejudge.
Not to judge so quickly the intentions of others. We may see externally one thing, but what is the intention of that person? We don't know. This is one of the reasons our Guru Varg tell us be very careful at making any assumptions that we know, oh, they're like this, oh, because I know, they're like this, they're like that. No, we can't do that because we don't know their heart. If we see that someone is doing something against bhakti, against the devotees of the Lord, and against Guru and Vaishnavas, then we can say, hey, beware, this is not safe. Don't put your heart there, don't put your faith there. This is in the mood of affection, and this is not aparad. So, anyway, Lakshman came down, and they were sitting amongst many other rishis of the forest. Lakshman was sitting at the feet of Ram, but he had his bow at the ready. And Lord Ram was sitting down, speaking to all of them, and Sita was sitting next to Ram. Bharat decided just to come ahead, to leave the army somewhat behind, and to come with just Vasishta and himself and Ram's three mothers, the three mothers. So as he came, he was looking everywhere as he was coming toward the hermitage, and he was seeing signs and symptoms of Ram and Sita everywhere. He saw a beautiful little mandir that was made by Sita's own hand, and he started to weep. He saw that there were beautiful flowers and trees just sprouting and growing, and he realized that they were planted by Sita and Ram. Even Tulsi was growing there. Sita had planted Tulsi. So coming there, he was overwhelmed, and he saw inside the hermitage that scene of Ram sitting there with all of the rishis and Lakshman waiting and ready.
I've seen a picture of that.
You've seen it?
The picture, yeah. You're talking and I was like, oh, that's what that picture is about.
So then, immediately, he's overcome with love and affection. He bows down again and again, and he's weeping and weeping. Ram turns and he sees. Actually, in Tulsidasa's Ramcharitamanas, it says that when Lakshman, he sees from the corner of his eye that Bharat is there, and immediately his heart is running toward his elder brother Bharat. But because his everything is Ram, and he hasn't been given any signal that he could leave the feet of Ram, he was torn. His heart was sitting there, and his heart and mind were being torn toward Bharat. So he was sitting there looking up at Ram, and finally, because Ram was immersed in his discussion, Lakshman said, Bharat has come. And immediately Ram turned and he looked and he saw Bharat there weeping and weeping. Immediately he got up from his seat and he ran out. Bharat grabbed his feet and fainted. Ram picked him up and began to hold him and embrace him. Bharat was weeping profusely. And then Ram saw his Guru. He offered pranam to his Guru, welcomed his Guru. They washed his feet. And then finally he saw all the three mothers. Seeing them, Ram first went to Kaikeyi. And it is said one of the reasons was to show that he had no animosity or no bad mood, but also because she did the unthinkable. She did what Ram had truly desired, his manobishta seva. It was not the easy thing to do, and it is something that even to this day she is criticized for. but yet she was able to do it. She fulfilled his heart's desire. So Ram went to her first, touched her feet, did parikrama of her. She embraced Ram, touched his head, and was weeping and weeping. The same happened with all of his mothers. He worshipped them all. Then finally they sat down. Many different sages and the ministers started coming up and sitting with Ram, and Ram welcomed everybody.
So all of the Ayodhya-vasis came also?
Slowly everyone started to come and to fill that forest. Sita was there, and she came out, and at that moment all the mothers went and they were embracing her and weeping profusely. And the same thing, without any animosity in her heart, without any kind of, oh, you did this or that to me, she gave all of her affection to Kaikeyi and to the other two mothers. Finally, they were all sitting down and they were discussing many things, but Ram was looking around and he said, I see that all of you have come, all of the head ministers, Sumantra, everyone is here. My Guru Vasishta is here. My mothers are here. But where is Father? Where is my father? I don't see him. At that time, they had to tell Ram and Lakshman that their father had left due to separation. He left this world. Ram and Lakshman both fainted. They were completely inconsolable. Ram thought, what kind of destiny is this, that I didn't even know of the departure of my father and I didn't offer anything, any last rites for him. Immediately they went down to the river and he offered oblations. He offered the water there for his father, and he began to weep in separation. He also saw that his mothers were dressed in white. He saw so many symptoms, and then he realized Father is gone. Finally, it was nighttime, and they stayed 2 or 3 days like this, trying to coax Ram in many subtle ways to come back to Ayodhya, but so far not forcefully. On the second day that they were there, some spies came, spies from Janakpur, from the place of Janak Maharaj, from Mithila, Sita's father. They came, first they went to Ayodhya hearing what happened, and that Ram, Sita and Lakshman had been banished to the forest and Bharat was going to be made king. He sent spies first to find out what was going on. He's a great warrior, and he also has so many great warriors at his disposal. So he wanted to know, what is the mood of Bharat, what is happening. So they went, and they also followed when they went to Guha's place, and they saw how Bharat was behaving, how he was bereft. So at that time, they went back to Janak Maharaj and told everything. So Janak Maharaj, along with his wife, along with so many of his citizens, also went to Chitrakoot. So they arrived there, and they were all so happy to see Janak Maharaj. Everyone was thrilled. Janak Maharaj was known from everyone, from every corner. He was known also as being someone who was enlightened. He was also a seer. Even though he was a Kshatriya and a warrior and a king, he was also a great devotee. Not only had he realized the impersonal aspect of the Lord, but he also understood the personal aspect of the Lord.
Janak Maharaj is glorified as one of the Mahajans.
Yes. He is with full gyan. He knows everything. And he is also considered impartial because he knows everything and he sees everything. Just like so many of the rishis, when they would see Ram, they would say, I've only been maintaining this life and this body to have your darshan. Now permit me to now leave. Without any attachment, without, oh, my body, this, that. They would just enter into fire and leave after they had darshan of Ram. They had no attachment to anything in this world. Janak Maharaj was also like this. So when he arrived there, everybody knew that there was going to be an Ishtagoshti. It means there was going to be a discussion on their Lord, Sri Ram.
That's
And
what Ishtagoshti means. It's
yes.
Ishtadev, coming together to remember to glorify the Ishtadev.
yes.
It's not just a meeting.
It's not a meeting of mundane ideas, or it's not a meeting even of management. Ishtagoshti means that we are coming together to hear about, to glorify, and to sing about our Ishtadev, or Swaminiji, our Ishtadevi, Srimati Radha Thakurani. So they decided that the next day there would be like a court case, and Janak Maharaj would be the judge. That evening, Bharat went to Kaushalya Devi and begged her, please, you have to tell Ram to come back. You have to impress upon him that he can't stay in the forest. And she said, Ram is immovable. There's no way I can force him to do anything. She actually said, I can't do anything. Then Bharat went to the wife of Janak Maharaj. Please, you should influence your husband. Make him tell Ram that he has to come back. Aren't you worried about Sita? She's living in the forest. She's so young. She's so soft and gentle and sweet. How can she survive this kind of life? At that time, she said, my husband, Janak Maharaj, will never swerve from the path of truth. No matter what I or anyone else says, what he considers to be the absolute truth, what he sees, he will only go with that. No matter what I say, he is not a sentimental personality. I cannot sway him otherwise. Finally, early in the morning, after doing his morning sadhana, he went to Guru Vasishta and he said, please, please help me. You must order Ram as his guru not to stay in the forest, to come back to Ayodhya. It's what you want, it's what I want, and it's what all of the citizens want. Please do this. Guru Vasishta said, you know, there may be one way that it can happen, and it's the only way I can think of. If you take Ram's place and go into the forest, and Ram can come back to Ayodhya and be king, this may be able to do it, as you are both the sons of Dasarath, and you can take his place. You could be his proxy, like that. You will do it and he will go back. So he became so happy. Yes, yes, this is a grand idea. This is perfect. So finally the meeting was about to take place. All were gathered there and they were ready to hear. At that time, Janak Maharaj said, okay, Bharat, please present your case. So Bharat stood up and he began to glorify Sri Ram. And he began to say, now that Father is gone, now that we understand that I'm not going to take the kingdom, I won't become king, we all want Ram to come back. Even Kaikeyi, even the queen, he would never call her mother, even the young queen, she wants him to come back. She has retracted those boons. So now Ram should come back. This is what we all want. And even if Ram doesn't want, if he thinks that someone should stay in the forest, he said, I will stay in the forest in his stead. Or even Sita and Ram can go back to Ayodhya, and the four of us can stay.
The three brothers.
Four brothers.
If Ram goes back to Ayodhya, then it's Lakshman, Bharat, and Shukra.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Us three brothers will stay in the forest. He put all of these arguments. And then Janak Maharaj turned and he said, okay, Ram, how do you respond to this? Ram began to say that this was the order of my father. How can I go against it? He was silent when Kaikeyi, when mother gave this order to go. So because of that, that means he consented to it. He agreed with it. And he said, if he were here right now and our young queen mother were to say, come back to Ayodhya, if our father were to remain silent, then I would accept that as him saying, yes, come back. And I would go back. But he is not here. And so I cannot do it. At that time, everyone looked at Janak Maharaj and they asked him, what do we do? You are the presider of this case. You are the judge. What you say, we will follow. So Janak Maharaj closed his eyes and he meditated on his Lord Shankar. Meditating for some time. Afterwards, he opened his eyes and he said, from what I have digested and understood, the winner of this case is Bharat. Bharat's love is like the ocean. His love is like the ocean, and it is capable of drowning even the mountain of Ram. Everyone began to become joyful. Some were jumping up and down. Everyone was embracing. They were crying tears of joy. Finally, Bharat got his wish. Everyone was happy and joyful. But after a few moments of joy, they saw something. Janak Maharaj was still very, very pensive. He was quiet and he wasn't joyful. Everyone calmed down and Janak Maharaj continued. He said, Bharat, even though you have won, your love has overpowered Ram. Your love is like that ocean, and Ram is like a mountain, but a mountain that is immovable. It won't budge. He said, so I have one question for you. Have you understood what is love? Love has no rhyme or rhythm. It has its own rules. Love is not bound and constrained. So I ask you, have you thought about what is the desire of your beloved? Love isn't selfish. It has everything to give and nothing to take. If in your contemplation, in your desire to bring Ram back, have you thought even one moment that if he didn't, all would think badly of you, all would blame you? Did this even for a moment creep into your mind? The nature of love is that one will even drink poison to make their beloved happy. And in this statement, our Gurudev said, like Kaikeyi drank the poison of Ram's desire to be sent to the forest. She drank that poison. Then he sat back and said, so deliberate, think about this mood. Anya bilasita shunyam jnanakar madhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. When our Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj was speaking about this Leela, the whole Ram Leela, he said this lecture is mainly about this. Anya vilasita shunyam. What is for the pleasure of my beloved? What is love? What is that mountain of Ram? But what is that love that we are offering him? Is it for my own enjoyment? Is it because I want something? Or am I doing everything for the pleasure, the benefit, and the desire of that beloved of mine? Do you want to speak a little bit about Anya Bilasita Shunyam? Okay.
Try to make it quick.
I think we'll probably go on this for quite a few days, it seems. So, but we can't just tell all of these Leelas without these major lessons. Ram is teaching, Bharat is teaching, Sita Devi is teaching, Lakshman, Janak Maharaj, all are teaching through these examples. And if we don't go into them and try to understand, taste them, and digest them, let them enter our hearts, then we will be bereft of what is bhakti, what is pure bhakti. We will think, oh, Ram should have done this, Ram should have done that, Kaikeyi. We will have all of these mundane ideas because we only go by our material emotions and ideas of what is right and wrong. But here, our Gurudev is teaching what is actual, high-class, Uttam Bhakti. So, Kishori Mohan ji.
Dandavat pranam. Radhe Radhe. Oh, Ram Ram. No. So this is a very, very important subject matter. Our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Gosai Maharaj spoke on this particular subject. What is pure bhakti? Almost every single day, almost every single class. And he wanted these ideas firmly entrenched within the hearts of all of his disciples. If he ever asked to anyone, what is the definition of love? He wanted this verse immediately quoted from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, verse defining pure bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. And I know we speak about it a lot, but it needs to be spoken about in this context, because Janak Maharaj is questioning Bharat's motive. What is your motivation? Do I need to? Is it pure or is it mixed? So the very first line of this verse says, Anya abhilash ita shunyam. Bhakti, pure bhakti, by its nature, that means pure love and devotion for the Lord, is by its nature devoid of any other desire other than anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. What is favorable, what is beneficial for, what is exclusively for the pleasure, the benefit, the happiness of the Lord, of your beloved. And it is not covered. Itta means and so forth. Any other desire. So many desires might be there. It is not covered by anything else. It is not covered by desire for freedom from suffering. No. This was requested of Bharat by Janak Maharaj. Are you suffering? Do you want your suffering to be alleviated? Is that why you're asking Ram to come back? Or do you not want to be looked at a certain way by everyone? So do you want something out of this? This would be like Karma Mishra Bhakti and Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Janak Maharaj has questioned Bharat. Do you have any other desire or motivation? Is there any other thing? Have you considered? Have you thought about what Sri Ram wants? What is his desire? Or was it about you and your desire and even the desire of everyone else? Are you representing everyone else's desire and your desire? In that, have you considered Ram's desire? It was like the ultimate. Because just before, all were so excited. Yes, Bharat has won by his love and affection, but it was the ultimate, you can say, pin drop disappointment. Hundreds of thousands. Boom. Oh my God. Right. What does Ram want? What is his desire? Already we know, because of the vision of the pure Vaishnavas, that Ram's desire, even from very young, he told Kaikeyi, I need you to do this for me. I need to not be stuck in Ayodhya so that I can destroy the demons from the earth, to re-establish the principles of dharma and to destroy adharma. Ram is Maryada Purushottam. It is his function, this function of Bhagavan, to establish the proper rules of dharma. This is what he has come for. So already from that time, when he told Kaikeyi, this is what I need to do. And then he cannot make his father wrong. His father died to maintain his truth. His father left this world to maintain his truth. He maintained his promise to Kaikeyi, these two boons, even though it killed him. How can Ram go against that? That would bring infamy to Dasharatha Maharaj and the entire lineage. This is the Sun dynasty. Ram appeared in the Sun dynasty. This would bring infamy to the entire lineage, and Ram would be the culprit who did that. But how can Ram do that? He is Maryada Purushottam. He is the one establishing truth. So they all realized, wait a second, we are coming here with the intent of doing what we want. We are feeling something in our hearts, and we want to bring Ram back. We want to put him on the throne. We want to even make him break the promise of his father.
We want to see him. We want to...
This is selfish. This is selfish. It's not pure bhakti. So when Janak Maharaj established this basic foundational truth, it was like, oh my God. And everyone began to shake inside. What is this? We have lost this opportunity. But they realized, yes, real love is about what is favorable for, what is beneficial for, what is pleasing to, and exclusively for the pleasure of the object of our affection. In this case, it was Sri Ram. This is real love, even if I have to suffer for all eternity. And see the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the last verse of Sri Shikshashtakam, Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yata tata va vridhatu lampato mat prananatastu sa eva naparaha. Oh my Lord, you are completely free to do anything and everything as you like. If you want, you can embrace me. If you want, you can embrace another before me. If you want, you can kick me away for all time and never see me again. You can do whatever you like with me. Or not. That is up to you. But it will not change the nature of my love for you. No matter what, you are always my prananath. Prananath means the Lord of my life's breath. And there is no condition to it whatsoever. This is the definition of prema. So in this case, Janak Maharaj caused not only Bharat, but all of the Ayodhya Vasis to consider this point very carefully. And what was Ram's desire? Ram's desire was to follow the order of his father and was also to do what he needed to do. So then, from there, Sudevi, what?
I want you to do something. I want you to say something.
So,
In this lecture that our Gurudev is speaking about Anyabilasita Shunyam, the next thing he tells in this lecture is he speaks about Mirabai, and that her husband, the Rana, was trying to kill her in so many ways. He would hear that she was, with another man, but it was actually Krishna. She was such a stalwart. So one day she wrote Tulsidas a letter, and she said, I can't bear it anymore. They've tried to kill me with poison. They've tried to have snakes attack me. They've done everything they can. What do I do? And he wrote her back in this beautiful, verse, Guruna Sasya, like this.
Tulsidas.
Yes. He wrote her back that anyone who is trying to stop you from worshiping the Lord, they should be given up. So I want you to speak on that and Bharat.
Right, this is perfect in relation to love.
But I just want to finish that Gurudev said that one day Mira was chanting and singing, and the husband, the Rana, came. The king came and he heard that a man was there and he was playing the flute. Finally, he broke the door down and Mira had fainted. He woke her up and he said, where is he? I know there was another man here. Where did he go? And she looked and she could see Krishna. And she said, don't you see him? Don't you see him? And he looked, he didn't see anything. Mira touched his eyes, and immediately he saw the form of Krishna. And then he began to weep, please forgive me, please forgive me. And at that time, she walked away. She came to Vrindavan.
You need some water?
Yeah. Sorry, I need water. But this is important.
Yes. So, in this connection, as Sudevi just said, our Gurudev was referring to Mira, and Mira had written to Tulsidas, and he shared with her a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Gurur nasasyat svajano nasasyat pita nasasyat janani nasasyat daivam nasasyan patischa shasyan namochayadya samupeta mrityum. And actually this verse plays very heavily through the pastime of Sri Ram. Starting with Bharat rejecting his mother. So what is this verse saying? Gurur nasasyat. Actually the last line is saying, samupeta mrityum. That person who's in a position of responsibility, if they are not able to deliver you from the path which leads to death, in other words, if they do not endeavor to turn your attention towards serving the Lord, they are not fit to be in that position, and rather they are fit to be rejected. And it starts with gurur nasasyat. Guru. If your guru is not engaging you in the service of the Lord, but rather trying to stop you from serving Bhagavan, trying to engage you in all kinds of mundane things, material things of this world, and not in serving the Lord, then they are not fit to be in the position of guru. They are rather fit to be rejected. And what is the example of this? Shukracharya tried to stop Bali Maharaj from worshipping Vamandev. Bali Maharaj was completely delighted. Shukracharya said, be careful, I think he's Vishnu, he's going to try to cheat you. Bali Maharaj was so delighted. Wow, Vishnu took this form to try to trick me? Well, let me serve him. Why did Bali Maharaj have this mood? Because Prahlad was his grandfather. So, 7 generations, for Prahlad, 21 generations, automatically liberated. He naturally had the inclination to serve the Lord. He rejected the order of his guru Shukracharya, and because of this, he is glorified in all Shastra. Shukracharya, what happened to him? He blocked that Kamandalu. No, when Bali Maharaj was trying to make the vow, taking Achman, Shukracharya entered in by his mystic power and was looking out through the spout. What happened? Vamandev took one little blade of kush grass and to unblock the pipe. What happened? Shukracharya lost one eye. Srila Gurudev explained, any guru who is telling you about so many things of this world, giving you so much information, but is not able to help you to serve the Lord, or who is actually discouraging you from serving the Lord, they are considered to be blind in one eye. They know so much, but they are missing the real truth. Fit to be rejected. Gurur na sasyat, svajano na sasyat. We'll talk about svajano later. One's own family, one's own friends. If they are not encouraging or helping, then that association is not favorable. It is asat sangha. And what does Mahaprabhu say? Asat sangha tyag. It might be that we have to be physically in the association, but we do not have to accept that association. We have received something superior.
Like Bharat accepted Kaikeyi as the queen. He said, I see you as the queen,
yes,
but I reject you as my mother.
Yes, so we're coming to this. Bharat accepted Kaikeyi, you are the queen. And he would technically have to be part of that kingdom, but yet he rejected her as his mother. So this is Janani Nasasyat. Janani Nasasyat. One's own mother. From that perspective, they weren't aware of the deeper inner intention, and this was the way Ram made it. But from the outside, it appeared to everyone, and she took it, that she had made aparad to Ram. And so what was their mood? What she had done was against Ram. She had sent him away. It was also against Dasharat Maharaj and against all of the Ayodhyavasis. So they saw it as maha aparad. So what happened? Bharat rejected her completely. You are no longer my mother. I will have nothing to do with you. You might be the queen, but you are not my mother. I sever this connection. He disowned her as his mother at that moment. And because of this, Bharat is glorified in all Shastras. Janani Nasasyan. According to Shastra, to disregard one's father or mother, this is considered adharmic. But if they are disregarding or against Bhagavan, then to disregard them is considered the essence of dharma, because it is favorable for Bhagavan. So, Gurur Nasasyat, Svajano Nasasyat, Pita Nasasyat. Pita, who disregarded and did not follow the order of their father. Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu said, why are you worshipping Vishnu? I'm the most powerful form in the universe, person in the universe. Hare Krishna.
It's okay, it's just some...
Cricket. No. Okay. Vishnu is my enemy, Hiranyakashipu said to Prahlad. Why are you chanting his name? You should not chant his name. Then you will also become my enemy. You should be like the rest of us. Very, very amazing demons. Prahlad disregarded the order of his of his father, and because of this, Prahlad is glorified in all Shastras, because he didn't just disregard it, but he was against Bhagavan, and Prahlad was always trying to serve the Lord by chanting his names. So, Gurur Nasasyat, Svajano Nasasya, Pita Nasasyat, Janani, we already spoke about this, mother. Daivam Nasasyan, the demigods. If they are not favorable to you serving Bhagavan, they are also fit to be rejected. Although we have so many debts to the demigods, if we do not pay those debts, we are considered to be incurring sin. But if they are not favorable to worshipping Krishna or following the order of Krishna, then they are fit to be rejected. What is the example?
Indra, Krishna and Indra.
Yes, Krishna told the Brajabasis, all the Brajabasis, you serve Giriraj Maharaj. Indra became completely furious. They have stopped that sacrifice which is meant for me. But because of worshipping Giriraj and following Krishna's desire, these Brajabasis are the most glorified persons throughout all of creation. Napatishcha sasyam. One's own husband.
Gopis, the Brahmins, the wives of the Brahmins.
So the example given in Shastra is the wives of the Brahmins. The Brahmins were busy doing their yagyas. Krishna and the cowherd boys were very hungry. Krishna sent some cowherd boys. You go ask the Brahmins for some food. The Brahmins are like, hey, baar jao. Hit the road. Don't disturb us. Can't you see we're busy doing yagyas, chanting mantras? Go disturb someone else. So they went back empty-handed. Krishna and Balaram said, go to their wives. The wives had overheard the glories of Krishna from the gopis. And this inspired within their heart, which is what Harikatha does, the inclination, the desire to serve Krishna. Krishna Seva Vasanam. When they heard from the cowherd boys that Krishna was hungry and he wanted some food, they wanted to serve Krishna themselves. They were so excited at the prospect. Yes, definitely we will do so. They went and told their husbands, and their husbands said, if you do this, we will reject you forever. We forbid you from doing so. What happened? They said, anyhow. They collected all of the ingredients and went to serve Krishna, rejecting the orders of their husbands. Because of this, they are glorified throughout all Shastras, and more than anyone, those personalities who were actually risking all shame, all criticism, giving up everything for the service, the pleasure, the happiness, and the benefit of Krishna. They are the most glorified. All the most intelligent personalities in all of creation, Udhava, Brahma, so many, are praying for just even a particle of dust from their lotus feet. Ashamaho charanarenu jushamahangsham vande nanda brajestrinam padurenam abhikshnasham. The gopis of Vrindavan rejected everything to serve Krishna, and because of this they are glorified. So this is a very, very important teaching which is coming up again and again as a theme throughout Ramayana and Ramcharitamanas, showing that service to the Lord for His happiness, for His pleasure, for His benefit supersedes everything else. And whoever is not favorable to that or who is against it, then they are not fit to be in that position. Rather, they are fit to be rejected. So, we have heard about this anyabhilashita shunyam. What is favorable for Krishna? We will accept that. What is not favorable for Krishna? Distance. Right? This is the first two symptoms of Sharanagati. Anukul yasya sankalpa. Make a firm resolution to accept into my life only that which is favorable for developing love and affection, devotion to the Lord. And pratikulya savarjanam. Well, as a natural side effect of that, you will have to avoid anything which is unfavorable for developing love and affection and service to the Lord. So in this pastime, Janak Maharaj questioned Bharat. What is your intention? What is your motivation? Have you considered Ram's desire? Have you considered what is favorable for him, what he wants, what will be pleasing to him, what is for his benefit and happiness and pleasure? This is the nature, the real nature of love, to take that into consideration, even if it is at one's own expense. So from that, Janak Maharaj taught a very valuable lesson to all who were present, Bharat and all others. Oh, I'm going to put that on you. Right here.
Thank you.
Got it.
So, then Bharat got the shock of his life. Everything stopped. It is said that it was like his heart stopped. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't do anything. He thought, oh, what can I say now? If I say, please still come back, then my love is not actually love. But if I say, yes, stay in the forest, then it is against also my love for him. What will I do? At that time, Ram spoke and he said, yes, you have defeated me. You have won. You have won. And I accept the kingdom. I accept it fully. And he said, but I want you to take care of my kingdom while I am gone for 14 years. At that time, Bharat still had some happiness in his heart, because he didn't have to make that choice that yes, you go. How could he say that? Ram made the choice for him. Okay, fine, I accept it. Now I'm leaving you in charge of it until I return. At that moment, because of seeing Ram, what did Ram do? He entered the forest wearing that tree bark. He took the sap of a tree and he made his hair into like a jata, one big, huge mass, and he made it into like a tapna on his head. Lakshman did the same. So Bharat made a vow then and there. Then as you are doing, I will also do. I won't live in the city, in the beautiful place of Ayodhya. He went and he stayed in a place called Nandigram. He thought, I from this moment am also going to be like a forest dweller. So he had these beautiful shoes of Ram. He asked Ram to step inside of them. He said, these will rule in your stead, and every decision will be made by first consulting these shoes of yours, these slippers. So Ram stepped in them, basically did pran pratishtha of them. And Bharat took them on his head, and he took the crown of Ram, and it is said that he took Ram's blanket, but actually Gurudev said no, it doesn't mean that he took his quilt, it means he took his instructions. He took his instructions, and he, with Guru Vaishishta and all of the Ayodhya Basis, had to leave and leave Ram behind. All were weeping, all were so just devastated. They're leaving their heart. How could they do it? But because they understood now what is love, they had to follow the course of love and what is the desire of their beloved. So Bharat stayed in Nandigram. He made a beautiful, like an altar for Lord Ram. He placed his crown and his shoes there. And when any of the ministers, every day they would come and they would speak with him. And every day he would first offer pranam and discuss with those shoes that had been pran pratishtad by the Lord. It means he fed his own Shakti, his life there. He gave life to that. And so he would first consult and then he would speak with the ministers. It is said that he would only take boiled roots, and that would be boiled in cow urine. And that's what he would eat to sustain himself. He slept on the floor. Ram actually, Lakshman would make him a bed with first grass and then very soft leaves. But he slept on the floor. Gurudev said that one day Kaikeyi, after some time, came to him and begged him, please come back, please come back. It's like scorpions are biting me there. I can't live there. I can't be there. And Bharat was like, I will never go back until the day that Ram returns. And actually, he made a vow to Ram, if you don't return to me, on that 14th day of the exile, that the 14th, the end of the 14th year, if you do not return, then I will give up my life. So on that day, if you don't return, I will enter fire. I will not live. He made this vow. And so Kaikeyi is begging him, please come back, and he refused. And then she said, please at least call me your mother. At least that will give some solace to my heart. And that's when he said, I have no connection with you. You deserve this. You deserve all of the pain and scorn that you are getting. You are the queen, but you are not my mother. Wow. So she had to endure all of this. But this is also showing his nishta in the feet of Ram, that even his mother crying and begging, repenting, I've done wrong, he would not move. He was fixed at the lotus feet, or the chappals, of Sri Ram, doing his seva to Ram, but undergoing so much more hardship actually. Who could he really reveal his heart to? Ram was with Lakshman and Sita, and they were going through the same thing as him. They all understood what was to be done, what was happening, but Bharat was alone, going through all of this, repenting continuously. What have I done? What kind of sin have I done that this has come to me? I know that it is not the fault of Kaikeyi. This is like a debt coming to repay me. I have done something, whether in this life or any previous life, and now I am undergoing this. I can't blame anyone else. So such was the mood of Bharat. Yes, Tattenu Kampam Susamekshuman. So after some time of being in Chitrakoot, Ram wasn't feeling happiness anymore. Everywhere he looked, he saw remembrances of his weeping mothers, of Bharat, of Guru Vaishishta, of all of the Ayodhya Basis. It even says that he would see, dung from the horses and things trampled by them. And he thought, everyone knows where we are. So now we have to go deeper and deeper into the forest. We have to go where no one can find us. They all agreed, yes, this is also weighing heavy in my heart. Actually, today I also read, and I just want to say it because when you hear about the Ramayana, you hear how Lakshman is making sure that Ram and Sita have a bed, that they're fed and everything is nice. But actually, Lakshman, there were two different scenarios. And one was that Lakshman asked that his wife should sleep for 14 years, so to give him the Shakti to stay awake. And the other was that he prayed to Nidra Devi, the goddess of sleep, during these 14 years, please sustain me so that I don't have to sleep, that I can constantly keep guard over Sita Ji and Ram. So Lakshman was always awake and alert and serving. He never even slept. So they decided to go deeper into the forest, and they came upon one hermitage, one very great seer, one rishi. His name was Atri. He was sitting there waiting for Ram. He knew Ram was coming again. He could see past, present, and future. So he was waiting. It's my time to go, to leave this world, but not until I have darshan of Sita and Ram and Lakshman. So when he saw that Ram was coming, he got up and he ran toward Ram. And Ram immediately saw him and started to do pranam. But Atri Rishi lifted him up and was embracing him. He was so happy. He began to glorify him, knowing him to be the absolute truth. At that time, when he was sitting with Ram, after he had calmed down a little bit, they were talking with each other. And then Atri Rishi told Sita, you should go and you should see my wife Anusuya. She has done so much austerity and so much penance. She can bless you. Please, child, go. Go and offer your respects to her. Sita immediately got up and went into the ashram, and she paid her respects to Anusuya. There, Anusuya began to teach her how to be a proper wife. And Sita was so happy to hear it. It was already what she was doing. And so they had so much a beautiful relationship together. And at that time, Anusuya gave her the benediction, Sita the benediction, that she won't have to eat anything. She can, but even if she doesn't eat anything, her body will never dwindle. She'll never become hungry. She gave her ornaments and clothing that would always keep her vitality. And keep her strong. So Gurudev said that when she was in the place of Ravan, she never ate or drank anything, and it was due to Anusuya, her gift to her.
Wow.
And then also, at that time, they decided that Ram, Sita, and Lakshman were going deeper into the forest. They were going into the Dandakaranya forest. And so they asked, please give us your permission. We want to leave this world with your darshan. And so in front of them, they built, yes, they built a funeral pyre, and they left this world. They became so golden, beautiful, and shiny. In front of Ram, Sita, and Lakshman, they left.
So they just waited to have his darshan.
Many of the rishis were waiting. You'll find throughout the Ramayana and also Ramcharitamanas that many of them are just waiting to have darshan of Ram. What's the perfection of all of their austerities? Why would they ever leave? Even thousands of years, they knew Ram is coming. How can I leave? It's only 60,000 years away. Why would I leave? Why would I lose this opportunity? So they were doing austerities and waiting for Ram. So many times when Ram would come to them, they would offer the merits of all their austerities to Ram. And so many times Ram would say, no, you keep them. Let me build these austerities. Let me build all of this on my own. Don't just give it all to me. But then they would leave having darshan of that divine couple.
It reminds me of Haridas Thakur. Also.
Right. Speak loud.
You can tell it.
No, you.
The Haridas Thakur, he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one thing. Because he was about to depart from this world, he asked Mahaprabhu for the one benediction that when I'm leaving this world, may I hold your lotus feet on my heart and be able to look into your face, into your eyes. And so as Haridas Thakur was leaving this world, Mahaprabhu gave him that benediction. He placed his lotus feet on the heart of Haridas. Haridas was looking in the beautiful face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and saying, what was he saying? Jaya.
I think he was calling his name.
Sachinandana. Oh, Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And with that beautiful Nam Yajna, he departed from this world. So when I was hearing that all of these sages were departing in front of Ram, they had his darshan, and then from that, then they departed at that time having his darshan.
Even certain demons that had been cursed by the demigods to become Rakshasas, they were also waiting for Ram, for Hanumanji, for so many of them, and waited to be killed by them. Yes, Taraka. Right, you were saying that.
Who was actually a cursed demigoddess, and Ram liberated her. She was waiting for Ram to liberate her. She was told that she would be, the demoness would be killed by Ram.
So anyway, they decided to go deeper into the forest. Finally, they came upon the hermitage of Agastya Rishi. When they came upon this hermitage, well, first they met his disciples and all these rishis. A lot was going on. They were spending many, many years coming toward the end of their exile. This is about 10 or 12 years coming on that they're going to all of these rishis' places, and they're learning from them, hearing from them. They would create beautiful huts, actually Lakshman would, and they would stay in the hermitages around all of these saints and sadhus. Yes. So Ram is showing that we should always be in sadhu sangha. So anyway, they came to the ashram, the hermitage of Agastya Rishi. And as they came there, Ram was very, very excited. He had been asking where to find him because he wanted his darshan. And at that time, he saw this incredible personality leaving the ashram, and he looked over and he saw Ram. And immediately he told his charioteer, that's Ram, let's leave here quickly. We can't get involved with him. We'll talk to him at another time. Let's go, let's go. A personality. And Ram was kind of shocked, wondering who it was. But within his heart, he was thinking, you know, this personality is shining. And look at his chariot. He got on this chariot, that personality, with green horses, and immediately it flew into the sky and disappeared. And Ram and Lakshman and Sita were all talking about it. Finally, they went into the ashram of Agastya Rishi, who, just like the other rishis, Atri Rishi, he jumped up and he started running toward Ram, crying and laughing, overwhelmed with joy. And at that time, Ram tried to do pranam, but he grabbed him and was embracing him. He was so overjoyed. And finally, when he also calmed down, Ram asked him, who was that personality? Who was that? He was shining like a million suns. And he said, oh, that was Indra. And then he began to tell him, actually, I've been waiting for you. I want to give you some weapons. And so he gave him all of these astras. And he said, I have the power to give you Indra's chariot. And Ram said, no, wait, when I need it, when I need some of these beautiful weapons, please come to my mind at that time, and then I will use them. And so all of these weapons were given to him, except the chariot and the horses and the driver Malati and Indra. So that wasn't given to him at that time, but the promise was made at that time when it was necessary, it would all be given.
Why did Indra leave suddenly?
Because Indra didn't want to interfere with the Leela of the Lord. He understood, and all the demigods understood, that every step he's taking deeper into the forest was bringing him toward the death of Ravan. And so they didn't want to get involved as much as possible. They are watching everything. And they were even, when this whole thing was going on with Bharat, and they saw the ocean of Bharat's love, Indra, all of them were going crazy, thinking, what can we do? Somehow or other we need to arrange things. And then Brahma was saying, you've done things like that before, and it's caused nothing but chaos.
Brahma also did something before.
Yes, and he also said, let's stay out of it. Have trust. Throughout the Ram Charitamanas, you see that Brahma is chastising Indra and all of the other demigods, saying, don't do anything. Don't interfere. Stay out of it. So that when Indra saw Lord Ram and Sita Devi and Lakshman, he's like, oh, Malati, his driver is named Malati, let's leave here immediately. Now's not the time. We can't interact with him. Because how would they treat him? They would be interfering, oh, Lord of Lords, and they would do all of this. So immediately he had to disappear. So anyway, he was given all of these beautiful weapons. And Ram asked, where can I go? What can I do? I need to go to a place to spend the remaining short time I have. I think it was like 4 years they had left. And so this is now, they're in the Dandakaranya forest. And they're meeting so many different rishis. First, Agastya Rishi tells him you should go to Panchavati, and there you can spend the remaining years of your forest exile. So they started toward this beautiful place, Panchavati. But before we go there, and before we continue, we have to speak something about all of the beautiful princesses that were in Janakpur, that were in Mithila. They were in the place of Sita and Janak Maharaj, many, many princesses. And they all fell deeply, madly, and totally in love with Sri Ram. So much so that when Ram made his Ekapatni Vrat, I will take only one wife, that is it. That is his gift to Sita Devi. She is my one and only. All of these beautiful princesses, they decided, we will never marry. We will never marry. If we cannot have Ram as our Lord, then we will do austerity so that we can somehow attain them. Then, when Ram met so many of these extraordinary rishis and seers in the forest, they petitioned him, you are my Lord, my Master. You are the Lord of my heart, of my life. Every breath is you. Please, let me have this conjugal mood toward you. And Ram smiled and said, in this form it's impossible. But you should continue doing your austerities as you are doing now. And when Krishna comes, when I again come, when Krishna manifests in this world in Dvarpa Yuga, you should take birth there as gopis. And then there is another history which we will again touch on. But Ram wanted to do all kinds of yagyas. And in these yagyas, he needed to have a wife present, but at that time, Sita Devi wasn't present with him. So there were, it's okay. So there were all of these golden Sitas that were made. And they all asked Ram before he left the world, what about us? What about us? We're also like your wives. He said, no, only Sita is my wife. I did pran pratishtha of you. I called her and that her Shakti there, but she is my one and only. And so they all were told to come in Dvarpa Yuga, Dvarpa as gopis. Can you speak a little bit about the Dandakaranya Rishis and Jeev Tattva? Because this is also, again, a very, very important preaching point. Because then after this, there's chaos. Chaos. Surpanat comes, Karandushan.
Don't spill it.
It's chaos. So right now, Kishori Mohan Prabhu will speak a little bit about this very important teachings of the Ramayana and
we'll have to Dandavat Pranam. Oops, where is it? There it is. Radhe Radhe, Ram Ram. So this is a very interesting point. If you can imagine a bunch of very elderly, very weathered, long-nailed, matted-haired, perhaps quite thin sages wearing either deerskin or the bark of trees. And yet, when they saw Ram, it wasn't their external bodies. It was their Atma, their Jiva. The Jivatma inside awakened to its nature. Immediately they realized, this is my Prananath. This is the Lord of my every life's breath. And although their external form was perhaps in the form of an old man, looking quite yogic, still their Atma was in Madhurya Rasa. They had this spontaneous bhav. And this is very important for us to understand. What is our process? What is our process? What is Rupa Anuga Bhakti? Is it discriminating between whether you're a man or a woman? If our goal is to become what? Radha Palya Dasi? That means it's not to do with this external male form with hairy arms. It's not to do with any of this external thing. We are doing sadhana or bhajan, where we should be developing that toward that particular mood. And so this is very important in terms of Jeev Tattva. And I'm going to refer back to when I was in nursery school on Watsika Avenue. The teachers came. I was 4 years old at the time. The teachers came and they asked all the kids, what do you want to be when you go back to Krishna Loka, when you go back to Godhead? Without a second thought, all of the young boys were like, we want to be cowherd boys. One said, I want to be like Bhima. Another one said, I want to be like Hanuman. Oh. And without a second thought, most of the girls said, we want to be like gopis. We want to be like queens in Dwarka. Like that. And then the youngest girl in the entire nursery school. Hare Krishna.
Just go.
She was only 3. And she said, she was the last one to speak. I didn't speak because I was a little nervous. But she spoke. And she did that really cutesy thing, and she said, I want to be a flower. And at that moment, I realized she was the only one who wasn't really thinking that she was this body. Although she was expressing a desire that I want to be something. Everyone else was according to their own current physical body. But she understood in essence that there's a difference between the soul and the body, and she said, I want to be a flower. Of course, I knew, and all of the senior devotees knew, according to Prabhupada's teaching at the time, that our goal, the goal of the Krishna consciousness movement, is to become one of the Gopi Jan. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Srila Prabhupada, he speaks this in his commentary on Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. That our Krishna consciousness movement is how to become one of the Gopi Jan. So this was common knowledge back in the day when Prabhupada was physically present, and even up until like a year or two after his physical departure from our vision, and then suddenly that idea became covered. And of course our Gurudev uncovered it again. So these old rishis and sages who were doing tapasya for thousands of years, they had this natural, spontaneous nature of their soul to meet with the Lord in terms of their own intrinsic relationship. It was already within them, this madhurya rasa. Because Ram had made that vow that I will only accept one consort, then for all of these sages he told them, continue doing your sadhan bhajan, and when I come as Krishna, you will come as gopis, and I will fulfill all of your desires. So this is one of the reasons that Krishna had to come, to fulfill the desire of all of these rishis who then took birth as gopis. They're known as Rishi-chari or Muni-chari gopis. Also for all of those young princesses of Janakpur who were also Sita's companions, they also fell in love with Ram, but Ram made that vrat, so when he came back as Krishna, he was able to fulfill all of their desires. This is another reason why Krishna appeared. Our Gurudev gave in the Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam, verse 1, about 20 reasons why Krishna appeared. And he said there are many, many, many more. But there's so many reasons, and like Sudevi already told about all of these golden Sitas, this is another reason because, and this is quite interesting, Sudevi and I were discussing it today. Wait a second. We know that Lakshmi to this day is still doing tapasya in Belvan and cannot enter into Krishna's pastimes. But what is it about Sita? And all of these golden Sitas who are non-different from herself, they were given pram pratishta. They were non-different from Sita. They are able to come as gopis of Vrindavan and join Krishna's Rasa Leela. So there's a speciality. In other words, the qualification of Sita is different than the qualification of Lakshmi. Even though Ram is her pati, still, that's why our Gurudev has said and our Shastras have said, they are non-different. It is Radha and Krishna manifesting in the form of Sita and Ram. Did you want me to tell more than that?
I think no, not now, because I want to tell a little bit of Leela and then we have to end for tonight.
So this Jiva Tattva is so essential to understand that the body is different than the soul. And each soul has its own intrinsic individual relationship with the Lord that is fixed for all eternity. It is inherent with us. As our DNA is inherent within this body, it is what it is. Our DNA, in the same way the soul has its own intrinsic, eternal, immutable, individual relationship with the Lord. And no matter how many millions and trillions of different bodies that soul has entered through or gone through as it is transmigrated, still that soul is essentially the same in its nature, unchangeable, immutable, and meant to love the Lord in a particular relationship. And until it attains or awakens that relationship, it will not find its full satisfaction, as we have seen in the history of Gopakumar. So there's so much more to say on that, which we have discussed many times, and we will continue discussing in the future.
Radhe Radhe.
Sorry, I've got this Band-Aid on my hand. Not Band-Aid, tape. It's there, I got it now.
So, as they were going through the forest and they were sent on their way to Panchavati, there, when they were arriving very close to this forest, they came upon a very huge creature perched in a big tree. Ram took him to be a demon. At first, he told Lakshman to raise his bow, that they were going to kill it. They thought it was some sort of apparition, or he was huge, like massive, like some big Rakshasa. So Ram told him, beware, the power of my bow. He has Vishnu's bow. He was going to shoot him down. And the eagle said, oh Ram, I know who you are. I'm an old eagle. My name is Jatayu. I'm a very ancient friend of your father, King Dasarath. And then he asked him, please allow me to go with you. Where are you going? You're going to Panchavati, this beautiful forest. It may be that any time you or Lakshman have to leave, and I can stay close by and keep guard over Sita. Please allow me to be with you. Lakshman and Sri Ram became so happy. You're a friend of our father. You're like our father than yourself. Yes, please come with us and stay with us in this beautiful forest of Panchavati. So they walked on, and finally they came to this beautiful forest. There in this forest was a beautiful lake, and there were rivers and streams. Sita was happily picking flowers and going here and there. She made another beautiful altar where she could worship the Lord, and they were living very happily. It was about 1 year left.
Which Lord was she worshipping?
It was about 1 year left until their 14 years was over. I don't know who she was worshipping. I only know for sure that she was, before her marriage, worshipping Parvati, Durga. And then probably she was worshipping Vishnu.
Vishnu.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
She always had a fondness for Vishnu.
She had a fondness for Vishnu. So anyway, one day, Ram and Sita were sitting together and Lakshman was being close by. And a she-demon, a Rakshasa, approached the cottage.
Is this our first Rakshasa?
She was Surpanak, the sister of the evil 10-headed Ravan, demon king of Lanka. When she spotted Ram, her eyes, her heart was immediately filled with desire. And although she was horribly ugly, she used her magical power to transform herself into a beautiful young lady and went before Ram, speaking to him in a sweet voice. She said, oh, dearest one, who are you with your strong limbs and handsome face? You have won my heart. Come with me, Surpanak, and wander through the woods. You and I could be so happy together. Ram was looking at her. He could see actually who she was, but he decided to play with her. He said, oh, beautiful maiden, I am Ram, son of the great King Dasarath. And then he said, thank you so much, but I've taken a vow to only have one wife. As you can see, here is my wife, Sita. Anyhow, if you were to be with me, you would have to be a co-wife. But look, there is my handsome brother Lakshman. He is so heroic and handsome, and he's living alone in the forest. You should make your offer to him. She said, oh, you are right. Then she said, Lakshman, my hero, come with me, I will marry you instead. He said, no, I can't. I am a servant of Sita and Ram. If you become my wife, then you will also have to be a servant of Ram and Sita. How could you accept such a thing, being such a glorious maiden? No, it's not proper. She became so angry. It is this horrible creature, Sita, who stands between me and you. I will devour her in a second, and then I will marry you by force. Immediately she ran and she began to go after Sita. She assumed her form as a Rakshasa. You should read. She has this huge protruding pot belly, and she's got these horrible teeth and this scraggly hair, sharp nails, and a really pug face. She just looks horrible. And she goes towards Sita, and she wants to take her and eat her so that she can make Ram her husband. Immediately, Lakshman grabbed the sword, and Ram looked at him, gave him the cue like, take care of this. And he chopped off her ears and her nose. Surpanak was the sister of Ravan, but she also had other powerful brothers named Kar and Dushan and Trishun.
I don't know Trishun. That's
an Ayurvedic medicine. Come on, Rudra. What's the third brother's name? Not Ravan. It's Kar, Dushan. Trishan.
I don't know.
Anyway, she ran.
The first time I heard about him and I forgot his name.
She ran to her powerful brothers, and she was weeping and crying. They saw her. What happened? Who's done this? How dare anyone attack you? Do they not know who you are, who you're related to? And then she began to tell them about the sons of Dasarat Maharaj who were living like ascetics in the forest and who had permanently disfigured her.
Can I tell why, or can you tell why? Ram had her.
No, you tell, and I think we'll stop here.
No, you have to tell it more. You want to stop there? You know?
He's really excited. You tell about...
Yeah,
tell it. You tell
I'm
it.
Gonna be right here.
Tell it.
Stay there. Don't move. Okay, so why did Ram have her disfigured? Because she actually really desired Ram. And Krishna has this special nature that if anyone really, really wants me, then I will make sure that nothing else will disturb them.
Even if they want to get away, he will never let them go.
Anyone who surrenders
Be
to me,
aware.
I will never let them go. I think there's verses in the Bhagavatam which state this. So she actually had extreme lustful desire toward him. This is the nature of Rakshashis. They don't have any rules or regulations. They can be with whoever they want, whenever they want. Oh, that sounds like Kali Yuga. Anyhow, so she desired Ram. What is it said in Shastra? Akama sarvakamo va moksha karma. Even if one is full of all desires, however you are, if you approach Krishna, and you can approach him with lust, and you can gain perfection even through that. So she had lust, and she ran for Ram first and foremost. She wanted Ram. So Ram arranged for that no one else would want her. She was disfigured. In essence, she was not wanted. This same personality is another reason why Krishna had to appear. Why? She came back as Kubja. Kubja was very beautiful, but she was deformed, crooked and hunchback. So although she was very beautiful, no one wanted her because she was deformed. This is how it was back in the day. She was the chanda maker for King Kamsa. When Krishna went into Mathura, when he met her, immediately that heart of hers completely fell madly in lust with Krishna. She wanted to enjoy him. What did he do? This is, as far as I know, the first chiropractic exercise in history. It is told that Krishna put his feet on her feet and lifted her chin and made her perfectly straight and very beautiful. Then he fulfilled all of her desires. So, from this we can understand that although she approached Ram with lust, he didn't let anyone else have her. He actually accepted her intention. And even as Kubja, he did not let anyone else have her, but then he fulfilled her desires completely. So this is the mercy of Krishna.
And one of the reasons Krishna had to appear.
Yes.
So, Kar, Dushan, and Trishu. Three-something.
With the shul.
Trishul?
I think so.
We're going to say Trishul. He's a Rakshasa. They were all together. They, along with 14,000 Rakshasas, came to actually kill Ram and Lakshman. And upon coming to try to kill them, Ram, actually, this is something interesting that I didn't know before today, and I don't know a lot of things, but still it was interesting to me. I had always heard that, I'll just tell you, I read from Gurudev yesterday, and I didn't think he got it wrong. I just thought, oh, I never knew this. That when Ram saw this huge army of 14,000 Rakshasas coming to try to kill them, he turned to Sita without even Lakshman being there and knowing. He said, from here on out, I'm going to perform very, very extraordinary pastimes, but I want you to enter into Agni, to hide yourself, and you should leave a Mayic form of yourself. Immediately upon hearing that this was the desire of her Lord, she meditated and fixed her heart on the feet of Sri Ram and called Agni there. And she entered into that fire, and Agni disappeared, and there was there standing a Maya Sita. And it, oh no, is this?
No, it's still going.
Oh, okay.
That's just mine, yeah.
Okay. A Maya Sita was standing there, and even Lakshman didn't know the difference between the real Sita and this Maya Sita. We also know that Krishna did this when Brahma stole all the cowherd boys and calves. Even Lord Balaram, he saw something was happening. He saw that the calves were more dear to the cows than usual. The cowherd damsels, the elderly gopis, were more affectionate to their sons than usual. Before, everyone was running toward Krishna, but now they were able to have Krishna as their own children, and they were pouring their affection. And Balaram was looking like,
what's going on?
What's happening? So in the same...
Well, he actually became a little upset when he found out a year
Why
later
didn't you tell me?
that Krishna covered him.
Yes.
And also Lakshman was covered.
So in the same way, he didn't know this. And today I read this confirmation in Tulsi Das's Ramcharitamanas. This was the time when the Chaya, the Maya Sita, appeared, and the real Sita actually stayed hidden. So at that time, when Karan, Dushan, and Trishul, with all of these 14,000 Rakshasas were coming, Ram decided, I want to fight, and I'm going to do this. He said, Lakshman, it's better that you take Sita to a mountain cave. While we're busy fighting, we don't know if any of them will attack her and try to hurt her, and we can't concentrate on everything. I can do this on my own. Lakshman immediately understood that caring for Sita is just as valuable as fighting and doing all of that, because without Sita, how can Ram live? So his heart was completely, this is my seva, I will protect Sita with my life.
He also knew that Ram would have no problem taking care.
So he took Sita to a mountain cave, and they were hiding, they were watching what was happening. But Karan Dushan actually said to Ram, you know what? We'll let you leave. We'll let you leave. We'll let you live with your life and have fun and have a good life. But we want that beautiful young lady. If you give her to us, we'll let you go. And Ram just laughed, and he's basically over my dead body. So at that time, there started a huge confrontation. And these Karan Dushan, what Rakshasas, they don't fight fairly. They fight in such a way where they'll disappear, or they'll throw all kinds of Maya illusion at their opponents. They'll be on the field eating dead bodies and doing all kinds of crazy things in front of their opponent to kind of confuse them, and then be shooting them with arrows. But Ram was undaunted, and he was like, it was like no one could tell where he was grabbing the arrows and when he was shooting. It was a continuous stream. And Ram was chanting and counteracting all of their Maya with so many astras. All of these mantras were coming from his bows and his bow and arrows. And his arrows, once they would fly out, they would kill whoever it was, and they would appear again in his quiver. It was one of the things that the rishis had given him, an invincible bow that was of Lord Vishnu's, but also a quiver which would never be empty of arrows. Wow. So as soon as it would go out, they would go to their target, and then they would again enter into Ram's quiver.
Wow.
So this was happening continuously. He was able to continuously, with all of these Rakshasas, he was able to kill them all, including Kar and Dushan. There was a fierce battle. What did I tell you? Oh, one of the amazing things about this battle, because they were fighting with this Maya. Who is the Lord of Maya Devi? What divine Shakti is Maya Devi? It's the Lord's Shakti, his divine Shakti, Mama Maya, my own divine energy, and that is Maya Devi, illusion personified. So at that time, they were trying to put Maya on Ram. And so what did Ram do? One of the ways he defeated them really quickly was he made them see that their opponent next to them, their comrade right next to them was Lord Ram. And everywhere they looked, they saw Ram. They'd look and go, Ram, and the other one would go, Ram, and then they would shoot each other. And they all killed each other, but they were calling the name of Lord Ram. They would look at each other, Ram, Ram. All you heard on the battlefield was everybody screaming the name of Ram and shooting each other, and Ram was there just smiling and shooting them. Ramcharitamanas. Wow. And so basically, they were all defeated quite quickly. And Tulsidas explains that Ram is so merciful that even though they approached him to try to kill them, because they were concentrating their minds on him and bent only on him, he let them leave, calling his name, and they attained salvation. And having darshan of him, but they attained salvation. Wow. So again, as we spoke last night, how when there's the chastisement of the rishis and gurus and the chastisement of Nityananda Prabhu or Mahaprabhu or the chastisement of the Lord, that it is always beneficial and it is always actually with the auspiciousness intended upon those personalities that they are killing or chastising.
Whatever happened to Karandushan's brother, the Trishul guy?
They were all killed. They were all in that war together.
Okay. I thought there was something special with him.
He was just invincible.
Oh.
They were invincible. They were like the most powerful Rakshasas. They were the brothers of Ravan. They were very extraordinary and very powerful. And I know that some were asking if it was Vibhishan. It wasn't. It wasn't Kumbhakarna. It was a specific other brother. I can find his name.
No, but Dushan, and his name was
Three something. Yeah. Trishan. Trishan.
Was it Trishan?
Anyway, he was killed by Lord Ram. So tonight, thus ends this evening's remembrance and association with Sri Ram, Sita Devi, Lakshman, and all of Ayodhya, all of Panchavati and Dandakaranya, with all of those beautiful personalities who are serving Lord Ram eternally. We were able to remember so many beautiful teachings of Lord Ram and our Guru Varg, what they have taken from these beautiful Leelas and what they have given to us and have shown us, which is the pure path of love and affection, how we should have nishta in our goal and be one-pointed, accept those things that are favorable and reject what is unfavorable, that we should be very, very careful in our goal and not let anything stop us. This is nishta. Even death won't stop me. In my next birth, I will continue where I left off. Nishta should be there. So, thank you so much for giving me another chance and another evening to remember the beautiful teachings and the beautiful glories of Sri Ram. And we will have to continue tomorrow, since Surpanak is very, very upset right now that her brothers and their whole army have been killed. She will now make things a lot worse. So tomorrow we will continue with Surpanak going to complain to Ravan, and hopefully we will even meet Hanumanji tomorrow. That is my goal.
Wow.
So forgive me for being so long-winded, but these teachings are so important, and these details are also just so beautiful. And to just rush through it and tell it in one night, I don't think would do justice to the beauty of these Leelas of Sri Ram. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Wow. So exciting.
Can you help?
Yes. Okay. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Oh Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Gurudev ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gopal Guru Varga ki Jai, Pali Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki Jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki Jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki Jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai. Did I already say Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai?
I think you can do it again.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki
Ki
Jai,
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki
Ki
Jai,
Jai.
Shri Gaura Premanande,
Hari Hari Bol.
Govinda Bolo Radha
Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam. Hari Hari Bo.
So thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, and especially on this particular topic, the pastimes of Sri Ramchandra. So also we'd like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to be able to follow the order of our Sri Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Tomorrow, by the way, for us is Ekadashi. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever our Pure Bhakti calendar has told, Sri Gurudev said that he's giving full blessings for that, and that's what he would follow when he would travel around the world. So we follow according to what our Gurudev would follow. And in Vrindavan, there's the calendar which has been made by Amar Krishna Prabhu, and so we have a particular calendar for Vrindavan Dham. So we will be following Ekadashi tomorrow.
Krishna Premavati and Rudra have said that it's Trishir.
Trishir.
Yes,
Okay, there you go.
thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
just thought Trishul, isn't that like a trident? It's a good name for it.
Thank you so much. It was really hard to try to
There's
remember.
a lot of names. Sudevi did really good with the names today. It was quite impressive.
Notice I didn't say Shatrugna.
Yeah. Vishwamitra.
Okay, chalo.
Okay, so Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vinobi Hari
Ki Jai.
Shishi Nandana
Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Kal milenge. Oh. Jivirama Tamani. Astamanyana. Kal milenge. Radhe.